Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, and thank you for your leadership on holding this hearing and for your bill on Ending Homelessness Act of 2019. I often hear when I'm in my congressional district and at town halls, what's going on, what is happening, how come this is getting worse, and why is it that the bills, the propositions that we've passed and taxing ourselves, why does it feel like it's not getting any better? And so it's a challenging question. And we've heard a little bit today about the progress that's being made. Maybe one of you can talk a little bit about what the chairwoman's bill will do. What kind of an impact will having her bill pass in helping address the homeless crisis that the city and the county of Los Angeles is facing? Ms. Miller, do you want to take this?
Sure, thank you. What I will start by saying is that we have spent the last few years building a system to respond to the crisis that is on the streets. And we are scaling that system up as we speak. What that system has told us is that there are 31,000 people in the system right now who have been engaged by an outreach worker. So more than likely, when your constituents see someone on the streets in an encampment, more than likely they have been touched by the system. There is some outreach worker somewhere providing services to them. They have had their needs assessed with our standardized assessment tool. They have gathered their documents needed to get into housing, whether it's income verification, a driver's license, an ID. They are ready to go. The problem is this bottleneck of not having enough housing for them to exit the system to. What we find similar in our shelter system, there are people ready to go. They have part-time jobs, they are engaged in services, they have mental health supports that they need, but there is no permanent destination for them to land. There's no affordable housing resource for them.
So, Ms. Miller, if you could just address what the chairwoman's bill would do, that influx of $13 billion, how would that help what you're trying to do?
Thank you so much. I would say the biggest gap that we have right now is a rental subsidy, is the ability to connect someone to an operating subsidy that they can then apply to a unit in the community and get them into housing. And I think the chairwoman's bill, with the set aside of resources for affordable housing, would be critical to getting a throughput in our system that we are lacking right now.
Thank you. You know, one of the things that we haven't mentioned is how Congressman Waters has been leading not just on this issue, but on the fight on the cuts that have been proposed. This president's fiscal year 2020 budget requested to actually dramatically cut housing benefits that help families that are low-income seniors, that have people with disabilities, families with children and veterans. You know, overall, the administration's proposed cut to HUD programs has been by an astonishing $9.6 billion. That would be devastating. And so that's why it's so critically important we have hearings like this and that we have everybody make sure that they're participating and then they're engaged so that we can help fight back against these proposed cuts. Now, we hear proposal after proposal that will be cut back that would only negatively impact all the work that people on this panel are doing, and it will do. Ms. King-Veland, would you maybe like to comment on what would happen, how the problem would get worse if we had this actual cut of the $9.6 billion to HUD programs?
We've talked about the fact that we have more than 10,000 units of permanent supportive housing in the pipeline, and we've talked about how critically important those units are. But without vouchers and rental subsidies, those units don't come on. So it goes beyond sort of discussions of impact fees and other costs related to rising housing costs. If we don't have the vouchers and the rental subsidies to be able to put those people into the units, those projects don't get built.
Thank you. Ms. Laras, you have done fabulous work. I represent the community of Jordan Downs. Can you tell us an update on where we are on that, and when are we going to see people moving into that facility?
Sure, absolutely. And we would welcome you to join us on Move-In Day. We have made a lot of progress with Jordan Downs, with the new Jordan Downs and the new housing there. We will be ready to move our first families into the new units this fall. September, October months, so right around the corner. So I'm a little bit about the game because we intended to provide an invitation to help move in our families. Completing phase 1 and phase 2 of Jordan Downs and moving into other phases, as you are well aware, we are replacing 1-for-1 unit and exceeding that amount. Currently, there's some 104 units at Jordan Downs. The new Jordan Downs will have 1,400 units.
Great. Thank you. I will, I'll yield back my time.